1947. Soon after World War II, the British partitioned India, tearing the ancient civilization and land into three parts. India flanked by West Pakistan and East Pakistan, 1,000 miles apart. Hindus and Muslims who had lived together for centuries slaughtered each other as the British fanned the religious divide in their quest to divide and rule. This set the scene for Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children, kids born on the wrong side of the border. One such child was Tarek Fatah, born on the 20th of November 1949 in Karachi in the province of Sindh.
हिंदुस्तान का बेड़ा गर्क करने के बाद 3 हिस्से में उसको बांटने के अंदर अंग्रेज़ और मुस्लिम लीग ने जो जाते हुए हमारे साथ हशर किया, अभी तक हमने उसका अंग्रेज़ से नहीं कहा कि तुम माफ़ी मांगो। जिन्ना साहब ने इंडिया का बेड़ा गर्क करने के बाद उनको खाना हजम नहीं हुआ, उन्होंने इंडियन स्टेट ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर पे इन्वेजन की और पाकिस्तान आर्मी के सोल्जर्स को सिविलियन यूनिफॉर्म में भेजा। वो लूट मार हुई, वो कत्लेआम हुआ और ये अब 2019-20 आने वाला, अब तक नहीं ख़त्म हो रहा वावेला। और अंदाज़ा लगाइए कि पूरे पाकिस्तान ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर के अंदर देयर इज़ नॉट अ सिंगल पर्सन दैट स्पीक्स द कश्मीरी लैंग्वेज।
बताइए आपकी शुरुआत कहाँ हुई?
मेरी शुरुआत उस जगह से हुई जिसे हिंदुस्तान के नेशनल एंथम में जिसका जिक्र है, पंजाब सिंध।
ओके।
अगला वर्ड क्या है?
गुजरात है,
मराठा।
हाँ।
तो पंजाब तो हो गया, सिंध कहाँ गया आपका?
सिंध कहाँ गया?
सिंधु है आपकी नेशनल चैंपियन जो भी बैडमिंटन में जीती है ना। सिंधु पूरे हिंदुस्तान में किसी को नहीं अकल आई कि वो सिंधु क्यों है, सिंधु है क्या। तो हम सिंध की पैदाइश हैं। अडवाणी साहब के शहर कराची में पैदा हुए 1949 में।
ओके।
अडवाणी साहब गए हिंदुस्तान, हमारे माँ बाप मुंबई से जहाज़ में, समुद्री जहाज़ में बैठ के कराची शरीफ आए।
ये बात बताइए कि आपका 47 का जो एक्सपीरियंस था।
47 में मेरे पेरेंट्स निकले बम्बई से।
अच्छा।
ना मेरे बाप को आने का शौक था, ना मेरे ताया को, जो इंडियन नेवी में ही वाज कमांडर एट दैट टाइम, सो ही जॉइन्ड द रॉयल पाकिस्तान नेवी।
Okay.
My father didn't want to come. He was an Algerian. He was associated with Bollywood. His friends were Nargis, Ajit, आपके वो जो swordsmen थे, I.S. जोहार, ये मोहम्मद रफ़ी, इन लोगों के सर्कल से बाप ने उठा के, who was the French Consul General in India.
Okay.
I was a French army colonel during the First World War.
Okay.
He had a business जिसमें पूरे Indian railways की जो flooring थी, he had a patent of cement that was called oxychloride, and अब भी मुंबई में है oxychloride flooring company. But because of partition, the Pakistani railways got split.
Okay.
The Northwestern Railway थी, वो पाकिस्तान में आई, तो उन्होंने अपने बेटे शरीफ को कहा कि भैया हम वहाँ पे भी फैक्ट्री लगानी पड़ेगी। तो एक बेटा तो उनका नेवी में था, दूसरा बेटा जो ब्रिलियंट आर्टिस्ट, स्केच आर्टिस्ट, अमेजिंग सिंगर, he would have sung in Bollywood,
really?
But my grandfather insisted that मरासियां दा काम है, शरीफ लोकां दा काम नहीं होंदा जाके ना नच गाना करना, खानदान दा ना रखो। But anyway, my father came to Pakistan and never really settled.
He was not happy inside, right?
I think his friends were cut off.
Yeah.
His circle, and my mother was very orthodox. She was from Lahore, and tough woman.
Okay.
And like she never allowed my father to drink at home.
Okay.
And so my father always had to go out to drink, and that means he came home drunk, which means
It's bad for
It's
the...
bad.
Yeah.
It's a typical Punjabi woman's answer to a problem.
But I'm sure your mom was happy when she...
She was never happy.
Yeah, so you were
I
born
was
in
born
Pakistan.
in immense wealth.
Okay.
There were about 36 cars in Karachi in 1947, out of which 3 were parked at my father's home.
What did your father do?
He set up the oxychloride flooring
So
company
that was
of
his
Pakistan.
major
That was it.
business, okay.
But he was not in his form. He never. He had great friends, which some of their children are in Canada, Goans, Zoroastrians. Our home was always a place where a dozen people were there every night. It was a beautiful home with a front yard. We had a chauffeur-driven Afridi Pashtun from Bombay who had come with us.
Wow.
But in a matter of 5 years, I would say, by the time I was born, and 51, 52, we were close to bankruptcy.
Why?
When losing money, father not really knowing how to conduct business, a lot of money was ruined, but the government of Pakistan did not have arms and ammunition for the first anniversary. And my grandfather, being in Mumbai or Bombay, had paid for 16 lakh rupees at that time for armaments that were brought in from France by abandoned arms depots for the Pakistan military.
Oh my God.
And that was obviously then got the Indian government got to know, and his property was then
Sealed.
confiscated as an intending evacuee.
Okay.
Which meant that my grandmother, who was a Congressite, my grandfather was a Muslim leaguer, and some of the partners kept the Indian part of the business.
Okay.
And the Pakistani part of the business, my grandfather died in Pakistan, he was visiting, and there was a split. So the trademark which the railways had accepted, my grandmother and her partners would not share it with my father, so the business went down.
I think he was emotionally also not there.
He was not.
So when you're under stress, you can't do well in life, right?
You can't when you're ripped off.
No.
And if you are middle class, you can settle anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you are from a propertied class,
So when did it start happening? When did your father's business start?
I was.
How old were you?
I think I was 3. I remember when we lost our house, and I was sitting with my sister, who's 1 year older to me, and she said, "We're going to a new house." And I was very excited, and I saw my mum crying. I still see sobbing away. She had a piece of paper in her hand, and my dad was sitting, and there were some other relatives. And somehow my father had missed the court dates, so there was an eviction order. In 47, you could take anyone's house, you felt like, if they were Hindu.
Absolutely.
So the Hindus had left, and a lot of people who came from UP had claims. So they would have, like you could get a degree. There were 4 or 5 people authorized to say that such and such person lost his degree while migrating to Pakistan, and they would get the degree.
Oh, wow.
And the local people,
So you could make up a degree then?
most of these people made up degrees.
Did they become doctors?
No, they became
Lawyers?
civil servants. Nobody wanted to be a doctor.
Of course, they have
They
to.
became
but
civil
have to-
servants, babus, and purely out of carelessness, we lost a palatial home. That next day, I remember there were 5 camel carts in front of our house with furniture loaded on it and no place to go. That's seared in my mind because from the night before, when we were excited, to the dawning of the realization that we were leaving that home that It was magnificent. It had a swimming pool in which I drowned. It had a driveway in which a car ran over. So before my first birthday, I had my legs cut off.
Oh my God.
So trauma is my middle name.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so the conflict within the home.
Your mom, you meant to say?
Yeah, with an Orthodox, educated, she was a matriculate.
At that time, matriculate was big enough.
She and from an English medium school in Lahore. Amazingly, a woman with immense talent. She could stitch, cook, do anything that could be done to. Because my first 10 years, 6-7 years in school was horrific. I had not seen money. Our chauffeur that I talked about, he stayed with us 10 years after we had lost our last car.
Wow.
In the hope that we could
It'll
recover.
get better.
So he would live with us without a salary.
Okay.
And every day get on his bicycle and take my 2 sisters and myself to school.
That is so sweet of him.
And then come back. Because we didn't even have money for the bus to go to school. I didn't see coins for a very long time.
Tell me more about this driver. Did he make a difference in your life?
He is the father figure in my life.
Okay, so someone influenced.
Yes.
And sometimes people who you don't even expect can touch your heart.
He used to call me Patunga.
Okay.
I think in Pashto it means dear child or something, I don't know.
Okay. Or loved one, dear one.
Something like that. But his name was Yar Khan Afridi. And he stayed with us without a salary.
That's selfless, right?
For maybe 12 years. Till he lost his mind.
Did you realize at that age that he was selflessly doing something for you?
Yes, I did.
So good. So that value must have been inside
The last
you.
time I met him, he came to after my wedding to see Nargis.
Okay.
I didn't see him after that. He had a big effect on my life because I never saw him in any other way except smiling or laughing. He would sit down by the road while we were going to school and help me with my homework and all that.
Wow.
Great man. And he lost his mind. I remember that day. He came out and he was deranged. You can imagine he had not been to his family in his loyalty to us.
Wow.
And that's the day he realized this is a lost cause.
So still deep hurt inside, but still having a smile on the face. So the one personality that we can learn all from, right? Who are your siblings? How many siblings do you have?
I have a sister, 1 year old, who is in a very serious stage of dementia, lives in a home in the Netherlands.
Okay, so she's older than you.
1 year older than me, my closest sibling.
Okay.
I have an eldest sister who's in Karachi, married to her, I could say boyfriend when she was in masters in journalism, with an Indian immigrant who came from Bhopal in 1965.
Wow.
And the war broke out and he could never go back. So, and the wedding took place on December 3rd, 1971, the day the India-Pakistan war took place.
Wow.
You still remember?
Historical date for a
Yeah,
wedding.
so she's in Karachi. Both her sons are also, one is a journalist with Bloomberg in Turkey, the other is a journalist who's become a public relations person. But there are far too many journalists in my family. My daughter is...
It runs in the family blood, I guess.
नहीं, आसान चीज़ है.
सही में?
हाँ, it's logical and you need to have a command over rational thinking and the language.
Language is the key, I guess.
But we were a different type of immigrant to Pakistan because we had not come from the UP, CP, Bihar.
You directly came from Bombay to Pakistan.
We came from a very urban culture to a very wonderful city.
Okay.
Karachi was a Hindu majority city in 47.
Correct.
To a different extent, because the division between the Hindus was between the Dalits that were different, and the categorizations were different. But it had a Malayali population, it had a
Christian population?
Goans, very large Goan population, Zoroastrians, Malabaris. I still remember some people who spoke Konkani and others who spoke Portuguese
Okay.
in Karachi.